the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, this is at the top end of the folks who are watching and monitoring what goes on across country, across the many millions in America. The pace of flu activity here is quickening. We have not reached our seasonal peak yet. CDC also urging those vulnerable, we're talking about those who are young, who are old, chronically ill, to get those shots before it's too late. Did you get your flu shot early this year? Did you get one at all? A lot of people just never do it. They're afraid of getting the shot. And what are people finding out there when they see those who are suffering from the flu? Talk about hands-on experience. Martin Ramirez is here. He has 17 years plus with experience as a critical care paramedic. He has seen people dealing with the flu and various strains. He's on the other end of our line. Martin, good morning.
Good morning, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for being here. I've always said nothing to mess with. I've had it in my life, and luckily not much. But, we use it as a generic term, and I've always thought that's a mistake. Oh, I'm suffering from the flu. You got a cold. If you had the flu, boy, you would know it. And this is not it. You got a nasty cold. But they're not the same thing. In your experience as a paramedic, what's the difference that people should know with someone who's actually out there suffering from the flu?
You're right. There are people that, have a cold, a couple of days, they're feeling better. But, when it really lasts 5-7 days, and I'm talking about those of us that are fortunate enough to be healthy, we can get rid of the flu in 5 or 7 days. But that might be 7 days of fever, cough, sore throat, runny nose, chills, fatigue, body aches, and some may even develop diarrhea and vomiting. So it's no fun for 5-7 days. Debilitating for those of us that are healthy, life-threatening for those of us that are not. So like you said earlier, the population of the elderly, the very young or the chronically ill, very, very difficult for them to get over the flu.
We're seeing this year so far the heaviest activity with influenza is occurring on the coastal regions, the East Coast and the West Coast. And we haven't been quite as nailed as hard in the Midwest here. What is this? Do you have any idea, Martin? I mean, you've been more on the hands-on area, but any idea why this tends to track a little differently each year in terms of where it hits harder and what areas don't get nailed as bad?
And so a lot of it has to do with population density. If in fact it does come in, through the air, and then it hits an area, and then because there's so much population, on the East Coast in New York, they're seeing high numbers of it right now, because those people are in a room together and they're sharing it. It's just more easily contracted. So we're fortunate, and especially Lansing is fortunate that it's pretty mild flu season.
But it could always change. We're not through it yet. From your background, your experience, how long does it normally? Where do you start to see it temper off? Is it late winter? Is it early spring? Does it sometimes run later than that?
You're right. We're not at the peak season yet. It peaks in February, and it starts tapering off as late as May. So for those people that have not received the flu shot, there's still plenty of time. So we're just now reaching the peak season. So it's a long season. It starts as early as October and ends in May. So it's a very, very long season.
Why do people fear getting a flu shot? What do they think they think it will give them the flu? Are there any instances of people getting full-blown influenza like H3N2 or any of that from getting a flu shot, or is a little sting and maybe a little swelling for an hour or a couple hours or half a day, is that the worst you normally see?
A lot of people fear getting the flu from the flu shot. It is actually impossible to get. It's an inactive flu, so you cannot get it. So talk about, you get the shot, and of course there's going to be a little pain, sometimes some redness or swelling to the area where the shot was injected in your shoulder. And then after that, your body starts to develop antibodies. So part of that process is releasing chemicals from your bones. It makes your bones, your joints a little achy. Sometimes you might develop a low-grade fever, but that's just your body learning this virus and developing the antibodies. You don't really get the flu, but you do get some mild symptoms. For those people that have actually had the flu, they know that this is nowhere near it.
No, it's not even close. All right, so the bottom line is the season is far from being over. We've got a lot more flu season to go. We've kind of lucked out in a sense here in the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes region because we haven't been hit as hard as some other places, but there's still time. And if you haven't got a flu shot, you also have time to go out there. How long does it take to click in? Is it usually a week to 2 weeks roughly to give yourself that hopefully cross your fingers, immunity? Does it take a little while for your body, or does it happen quicker than that?
You're right. It does take about 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks, for you to develop those antibodies. So, again, you should not think of the flu shot as a force field. You may still get the flu, and you may still get some symptoms of it, but your body will be able to react to it sooner. So you may only be sick for a couple of days, as opposed to being sick for many days to up to weeks without the shot.
Martin Ramirez here, critical care paramedic, more than 17 years. He's seen people with the flu before, and I'm sure you've seen some very bad cases with this. And the hope is that, if you don't need to experience it, which means you're in the healthcare profession, why should you get the shot, go out there and get it done? Martin, thanks for being here very much.
I appreciate your time, Dave.
Yep,
Have a very good day,
again, all right, this is 1320. This is your morning wake-up. Don't go away. Wrap things up. 1320 WILS.